Today, let's explore the lives of three of the most remarkable figures in the Bible: Moses, David, and Elijah. Join us on this journey through history and the lessons each of them left us. Moses. Imagine a baby floating in a basket made of reeds on the still waters of the Nile River. This baby, named Moses, was destined to change history. Rescued by the Pharaoh's daughter, Moses grew up in the luxuries of the Egyptian palace, but his heart never forgot his Hebrew roots. As an adult, Moses saw the oppression of his people and, in a fit of rage, killed an Egyptian who was mistreating a Hebrew slave. Fearing for his life, he fled to the desert of Midian. There he settled down, got married, and thought he could live a quiet life. But God had other plans. One day, while shepherding sheep, Moses saw something extraordinary: a burning bush that was not consumed by the fire. As he approached, he heard the voice of God calling his name. "Moses, Moses, take off your sandals, for the place where you are standing is holy ground." God revealed to Moses the most challenging mission of his life: return to Egypt and free the Israelites from slavery. Moses, a humble man, questioned his ability, but God promised to be with him. Armed with his staff and divine promise, Moses returned to Egypt. In Egypt, Moses confronted the powerful Pharaoh, demanding the release of God's people. Despite several refusals, God sent 10 devastating plagues upon Egypt, each more terrible than the last. Finally, after the plague that took the firstborns, Pharaoh relented. Moses led the Israelites on the epic crossing of the Red Sea, where the waters parted, allowing safe passage. In the desert, he guided the people towards the Promised Land, facing challenges and complaints. On Mount Sinai, Moses received the tablets of the Ten Commandments, a divine code that still resonates today. Moses shows us that even those who feel inadequate can accomplish extraordinary feats with faith and obedience to God. He not only freed a people but also brought them a new law and a new hope. His life is a testament that, with God's help, we can overcome any obstacle. David. Imagine a young shepherd, simple and unknown, tending his sheep on the hills of Bethlehem. This young man is David, the youngest of Jesse's sons. With his devoted heart and a natural talent for music, David spent his days playing the harp and singing praises to God. But David's destiny was about to change. The prophet Samuel, guided by God, came to Jesse's house looking for the next king of Israel. Against all expectations, Samuel anointed David, the little shepherd, as the future king because God saw in him a pure heart and unwavering faith. David's true test of courage came on the battlefield against the giant Goliath. The soldiers of Israel trembled in fear, but David, armed only with a sling and his faith, faced the Philistine Colossus. With a precise stone, he struck down Goliath, showing that true strength comes from trusting in God. After this victory, David gained fame and became a national hero. He drew close to King Saul, playing the harp to calm the king's tormented spirit. But Saul's jealousy turned this friendship into rivalry, forcing David to live as a fugitive, always trusting God for protection. During these years of fleeing, David gathered a group of loyal followers and became a respected leader. Even while being pursued, he refused to harm Saul, showing noble character and deep respect for God's will. Finally, after Saul's death, David was crowned king of Israel. As king, David unified the tribes of Israel and established Jerusalem as the capital. He brought the Ark of the Covenant to the city, making Jerusalem the spiritual center of the kingdom. His reign was marked by military conquests but also by moments of great personal failure. David's sin with Bathsheba and the consequent death of her husband, Uriah, brought severe consequences. When confronted by the prophet Nathan, David deeply repented, composing Psalm 51, a sincere plea for forgiveness and purification. Even amid his failures, David never lost his faith in God. His sincere repentance and continuous seeking of God show us that no matter how great our mistakes, we can always find redemption. David, the shepherd who became king, left a legacy of faith, courage, and worship. His life is a testament that God looks at the heart, not appearances, and that with faith and repentance, everyone can find a new beginning. Elijah. In ancient times, when Israel strayed from God and followed idols, a fiery prophet emerged, whose voice echoed like thunder, Elijah. With unwavering faith and fervent zeal, he became an unyielding defender of divine truth. Elijah appeared during the reign of Ahab, a king who, along with his queen Jezebel, introduced the worship of Baal in Israel. The country was in a spiritual crisis, but Elijah, the lone prophet, stood up to confront idolatry. With a word from God, he declared a drought upon the land, a punishment to turn the people from their wicked ways. During the drought, God cared for Elijah in miraculous ways. First, he sent ravens to feed him by the brook of Cherith. Then, in the town of Zarephath, a desperate widow and her son were blessed by his presence. With God's intervention, the little flour and oil they had never ran out, showing that even in difficult times, God provides for those who trust in him. The climax of Elijah's ministry was on Mount Carmel, where he challenged the 450 prophets of Baal. In an epic showdown, Elijah proposed a test. The God who answered with fire would be the true God. The prophets of Baal cried out in vain. But when Elijah prayed, a heavenly fire fell, consuming the sacrifice, the wood, the stones, and even the water around it. All the people fell face down, recognizing that the Lord is God. But Elijah's victory brought danger. Jezebel, enraged, vowed to kill him. Elijah fled into the wilderness, exhausted and disheartened. Feeling alone and defeated, he asked God to take his life. However, God, in his compassion, sent an angel to strengthen him with food and water. Elijah was guided to Mount Horeb, where, in the midst of a cave, he encountered the Lord. There, God revealed himself to Elijah not in a powerful wind, nor in an earthquake or fire, but in a gentle and quiet whisper. In this moment of intimacy, God comforted Elijah and gave him new directions, showing that he is present even in the most silent and seemingly desolate circumstances. Elijah fulfilled his mission to the end, preparing his successor, Elisha, to continue the work. And then, in an extraordinary way, he was taken up to heaven in a chariot of fire, a testimony of his life dedicated to God. Elijah teaches us that true courage comes from faith, and that even in the darkest moments, God is with us. His life is a powerful reminder that God is faithful and never abandons his servants. Moses, David, and Elijah offer us powerful examples of faith, courage, and repentance. Their stories continue to inspire millions around the world. May we learn from their lives and apply these lessons in our own spiritual journey. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more inspiring content about the Bible. See you next time.